Buried in the Defense Intelligence Agency's archive in an unnamed file is one of the most fascinating accounts of pilot interaction with UFOs. This document, sent to the CIA, NSA, and White House in 1976, details an encounter between Iranian Air Force pilots and multiple bright, flashing objects that performed impossible maneuvers. A review later declassified by the NSA shows the pilots' accounts were verified by a high-ranking general, radio tower operators, and radar signatures. These documents detail instrumentation failure experienced by aircraft that approach the objects, as well as physiological effects experienced by the aircrews. The wealth of detail and corroboration makes this one of the best documented military engagements with UFOs on record. We're a new channel covering declassified files like this. Subscribe to join us. The following is the full message U.S. officials received after the event. This report forwards information concerning the sighting of a UFO in Iran on the 19th of September, 1976. At about 12:30 a.m., the Imperial Iranian Air Force command post received 4 telephone calls from citizens living in the Shimiran area of Tehran saying they had seen strange objects in the sky. Some reported a kind of bird-like object, while others reported a helicopter with a light on. There were no helicopters airborne at that time. The command post called B.G. Yousefi, Assistant Deputy Commander of Operations. After he told the citizens it was only stars and he had talked to the tower, he decided to look for himself. He noticed an object in the sky similar to a star, bigger and brighter. He decided to scramble an F-4 from the Cherokee Air Force Base to investigate. At 0:30 hours on the 19th, the F-4 took off and proceeded to a point about 40 nautical miles north of Tehran. Due to its brilliance, the object was easily visible from 70 miles away. As the F-4 approached a range of 25 nautical miles, he lost all instrumentation and communications. He broke off the intercept and headed back to Cherokee. When the F-4 turned away from the object and apparently was no longer a threat to it, the aircraft regained all instrumentation and communications. At 0140, a second F-4 was launched. The backseater acquired a radar lock-on at 27 nautical miles, 12 o'clock high position with the rate of closure at 150 nautical miles per hour. As the range decreased to 25 nautical miles, the object moved away at a speed that was visible on the radar scope and stayed at 25 nautical miles. The size of the radar return was comparable to that of a 707 tanker. The visual size of the object was difficult to discern because of its intense brilliance. The light that it gave off has that of flashing strobe lights arranged in a rectangular pattern and alternating blue, green, red, and orange in color. The sequence of the lights was so fast that all the colors could be seen at once. The object in the pursuing F-4 continued on a course to the south of Tehran when another brightly lighted object, estimated to be 1/2 to 1/3 the apparent size of the moon, came out of the original object. This second object headed straight toward the F-4 at a very fast rate of speed. The pilot attempted to fire an AIM-9 missile at the object, but at that instant, his weapons control panel went off and he lost all communications. At this point, the pilot initiated a turn and negative G dive to get away. As he turned, the object fell in trail at what appeared to be about 3 to 4 nautical miles. As he continued in his turn away from the primary object, the second object went to the inside of his turn, then returned to the primary object for a perfect rejoin. Did you catch that? Here we have a documented account of an object splitting apart and rejoining together. Let's continue. Shortly after the second object joined up with the primary object, another object appeared to come out of the other side of the primary object, going straight down at a great rate of speed. The F-4 crew had regained communications and the weapons control panel and watched the object approach the ground, anticipating a large explosion. But that's not what happened. This object appeared to come to rest gently on the earth and cast a very bright light over an area of about 2 to 3 kilometers. The one civil airliner that was approaching during this same time experienced communications failure in the same vicinity, but did not report seeing anything. While the F-4 was on a long final approach, the crew noticed another cylinder-shaped object, about the size of a Ford T-Bird, with bright steady lights on each end and a flasher in the middle. When queried, the tower stated there was no other known traffic in the area. During daylight, the F-4 crew was taken out to the area in a helicopter where the object apparently had landed. Nothing was noticed at the spot where they thought it was, a dry lake bed, but as they circled off to the west of the area, they picked up a very noticeable beeper signal. At the point where the return was the loudest was a small house with a garden. They landed and asked the people within if they had noticed anything strange last night. They talked about a loud noise and a very bright light like lightning. End message. It was later revealed that much of this information came from the second F-4 pilot, Parviz Jafari. Comments he made at the National Press Club conference in D.C. in 2007 added some more details. For one, he says he encountered 4 distinct objects that separated from the main UFO. Each had different shapes. He also revealed the light he witnessed landing on the ground was so bright, nearby sand was visible to the human eye despite it being nighttime. So what about that beeping transponder? Some think it's physical evidence left behind from the object that landed. A report from U.S. Lieutenant Colonel Olin Moy, however, notes that it could have been from an American transport plane. Unfortunately, the public documents don't give us any more detail on this, despite it being located near the farmhouse that witnessed the object land. An internal military newsletter shows the U.S. Air Force was also interested. It restates the case with the prompt. Sometime in his career, each pilot can expect to encounter strange, unusual happenings by which will never be adequately or entirely explained by logic. It was marked confidential before being released in the 80s. None of these files give any indication as to what UFOs may be. But at least in this case, the evidence from multiple high-level sources suggests this couldn't be explained away by a trick of the eye or weather phenomena. Want to support the channel and future coverage of declassified files? Check out one of the free audiobooks linked below, free with a trial of Audible. Or consider supporting us on Patreon. And be sure to share with your friends and hit the notification bell.